A lot of people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, their brain is looking to kind of keep going, keep going. I'm trying to see how I want to connect with him. I said, Dad, you don't know who I am, do you? And he looks at me and he couldn't speak. He had already lost his ability to talk. He just shook his head. And I said, okay, that's okay. And I remembered something that we used to do when I was a kid. I have giant hands for a small person. I can palm a basketball. My dad and I have the exact same hands down to the lines on our fingers. We have the exact same hands and they're the same size. So when I was little, he used to do palm to palm with me. I said, Dad, here, put your hand up next to mine. And so we did palm to palm. And I was like, look at that. We have the exact same size hands. We have the same hands. And then he takes my hands and he's looking at it and he's turning it over and looking at the palm and he's tracing my fingers. And then he looked up and tears burst out of his eyes. And I said, you know who I am now, don't you? And he nodded his head. 3 weeks later, he goes to put me in the car. He wanted to walk me. I said, no, Dad, we could say goodbye here. He shook his head and took my arm and walked me to the truck. And I got in and I was trying to keep it together. I hug him. I say goodbye. I tell him I love him. I get in the car. And then he starts to walk away and I just sob uncontrollably. And then I hear a little knock at the window and I turn and it's him. And he takes the palm of his hand and he puts it up against the window. And I take mine and I put it on the other side of the window and he nods. And then he walked away. And I explained that to people because I'm like, don't give up on them. Don't give up on them. They are in there.